This is very serious. We needed a cappuccino for this video. And a peepers. Hey guys, so today I am filming a video I've been wanting to film for so long. This is by far the #1 question I get asked. Anytime I talk about self-tanning on Instagram, I'm constantly getting DMs of what I use, like how do I do it, all that kind of stuff. It's been very requested for me to make this video, so I am doing it. I have been using self-tanner for probably like 5 or 6 years, and so I feel like I've learned a lot. I've had a lot of trial and error, and today I'm truly gonna try to share like every single tip and trick that I have learned along the way, everything that I've ever struggled with, everything that I use. And then I did make sure to ask you guys on Instagram for some questions. So I'm gonna make sure to kind of touch on all of those in this video. Although like a lot of them are things that I would pretty much like normally cover anyways, but I just wanna make sure. Let's hop into it. I'm very, very excited. I have just become a self-tanning addict over the years. Of course, the obvious, like overexposure in the sun just isn't the best. And I have really started to see the effects of the sun on my skin. If you watch my like makeup videos, I talk about it a lot, especially ever since I've started to grow some dark spots. I've gotten really serious about self-tanning. I just love to have a tan and a glow. I always chalk it up to like the fact that I have a more like olive and yellow skin tone and like darker features. I feel like when I am super pale, like I just feel sick. But to be honest, like I just feel like so much prettier when I have a tan, and I feel like I don't need to wear as much makeup, and I just feel all around so much better and prettier and just better about myself. I know that's like probably isn't the best, but it's just the truth. And honestly, I just feel like spending that much time laying in the sun, like it's just so time consuming. I can't even like imagine like the hours I used to spend laying in the sun. Like what a waste of time, you know what I mean? I can self-tan in like 20 minutes and I'm so much tanner than it would be like a week in the sun. And then like same with tanning beds, they're so expensive, and again it's time consuming. You gotta drive there and do your tan and all that. It's just like ugh. So not only is it like better for you, but it really is easier, it's cheaper, and you're just gonna look better in general for longer. There's just so many pros to it. You know, if you've never self-tanned before and you're watching this, I think really just like trying it a couple of times and like you'll have it down. It's really not that hard. There are a few very important points that I'm gonna be teaching you in this video, and I think if you follow that, like you'll be golden. It's really not that serious. Hop into it. I'm gonna start just with my process. This cappuccino is so good though. It's like, I don't even want to talk, I just want to drink it. So the #1 most important part of self-tanning is the prep, okay? This is if you don't listen to anything else, please listen to this part because it is the most important. So with any kind of like sunless tanner, whether you're getting a professional spray tan or you're doing a self-tan at home, if you have any dry patches of skin, it's basically going to cling onto it and it's going to look darker like over those dry patches. So it's gonna look splotchy and dark, and then it's gonna fall off faster, and then it's gonna be light, and then it's gonna fade uneven. So it's just really, really, really important to prep really well. So the most important thing you can do is exfoliate, not just like a little scrub, like exfoliating the living crap out of your skin. So this is what I do. I hop into the shower and I make it pretty much like as hot as I can stand it. And I just let myself soak in the water for like a good 5+ minutes, like however long I want. During this time, it is important to like shave anything that you want to shave, mostly like your legs. Because if you have any like little pricklies, the self-tanner can kind of pick that up. It definitely looks better on like a smooth surface. And I do my arms sometimes too. I've gotten laser hair removal on my arms, so I have pretty much no arm hair at this point, but sometimes I shave just a little extra off so it's a little extra smooth. So once my skin is like really warm and wet and soft, then I go in and exfoliate. I do not recommend to use a scrub like you know, like a body scrub. I have tried to use those before, and I just feel like you don't have as much control over like that it's literally covering every inch of your skin. So what I found works best is a mitt. So those, I'll show you the one that I use. You can get some at like the drugstore or whatever that are actually like a glove. I just find that this like works a bit better. So this is from Loving Tan, and this is actually their tan removing mitt. So it's meant to remove self-tanners, but I've used it for years to prep. The black side is like the more rough side, and I go to town scrubbing my skin like crazy, like until the point that like my skin is red. It is very important to note, like, the more you self-tan, I think this is something that just kind of comes with like learning your body. I have really dry skin, so I might have a little bit more of an issue. If you don't have as dry a skin as I do, you might not have as much of an issue, but at this point I really know the areas where either I forget to exfoliate, or if I'm not like really aggressive, it's gonna look bad. The hand area is like just a big concern in general when self-tanning, so making sure you're really getting in every little crevice of your hand, elbows of course. I always have an issue like in this area, like underneath my arm, and I think because I don't think about it, but in this area and then like in my, like on this part of my chest, those are the areas that like if I don't consciously be like, okay, I need to exfoliate this, like I totally either forget or just don't do it enough, whatever. Those are my problem areas. Just so you know, if you're going to do it for the first time, like those are some areas you might want to think about. Sort of, I know other brands make tan removing mitts, and I think the fact that it's meant to remove a tan is just a little bit more aggressive than just an exfoliating mitt. So I would recommend picking a removing mitt. I don't know that you need the Loving Tan one, but this is just the one that I have had for a really long time. So the prep doesn't stop there. When it's time for you to, you've exfoliated everything, you've shaved everything, it's time to get out of the shower. We'll talk a little bit more about the face later, but mostly because I wash my face so much. I mean, I wash my face twice a day, exfoliate regularly, do masks regularly. The tan just is never gonna stay on my face, and it's just something that I've learned to live with, and I'm okay with it, and it just is what it is. The tan is going to best stick to like dry, unmoisturized skin, but I do put something light on my face just because I can't go about my day. Again, I have such dry skin, I can't go about my day without having anything on my face. So I either use like just a serum or just a lighter moisturizer. I don't go crazy with like my typical like serums, heavy moisturizers, and oils. I just kind of pick one product and stick to it, and I put that really lightly on my face. And then I will take, again, like a more thin body lotion. I tend to, again, I have dry skin, so I use a lot of like thick body butters, body oils, and when you're prepping for self-tanner, that's not something you want to do. I take like a thinner body lotion. I buy like certain body lotions just for like doing self-tanner. I don't really have a favorite. I don't really have one that I love. I just think anything that's not super, super thick. And I just hit my elbows, my hands, my knees, my feet. Those are areas that just the skin is a bit more rough, so it's just gonna cling onto the self-tanner, and putting that lotion is kind of like a security to help the self-tanner not stick too heavily. At this point, we are all prepped, ready to go apply the self-tanner. So one of like my best tips that I can give you besides like the exfoliating mitt is to have a big brush. Or just have any sort of brush that you kind of just, it's your self-tanning brush. So this is the brush that I use. It's obviously like dirty because I use it. This is from Tarte. Here's the thing. I would not recommend going out and buying a really expensive brush just to do self-tanning. It's not necessary. I already had this brush and I never used it for makeup, and it's just so big that I just decided to use it for self-tanning one day, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I've been using it for years, and it's just my self-tanning brush. The good thing about it is I have found that this doesn't destroy my brush at all. I just can wash it out, and once I wash it out, that's basically back to normal. The self-tanner doesn't stay in the brush. It doesn't change the consistency of the bristles or anything like that. But like I said, you don't need an expensive Tarte brush. Any kind of brush that is synthetic and pretty dense. Another brush I really do like is the Morphe M439. I think different people have different preferences. I've seen YouTubers use like really small brushes, and to me, I don't really like that. I like a bigger brush. So that's why I like this Morphe one. As far as foundation brushes go, they're pretty big. Oh my gosh, this brush is $16. Now when I bought this, it was $8. but it's still not an awful price. It doesn't matter. Real Techniques has some really good brushes you could use for this. I wonder about this Tarte brush. This brush is $34. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I would never even buy like a $34 brush like to do my makeup, let alone like self-tan, but I bought this like back in the day when it was new. It was like all the rage and blah, 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 but whatever, that's irrelevant. So when I'm applying my self-tanner on my face, so this kind of depends. If I am not going anywhere, not seeing anybody, or sleeping in it, I will completely just cover my face in self-tanner and it's gonna look crazy, but you know, it'll look better when you wash it off. But I almost put my self-tanner on like bronzer. So I just use a pretty small pump and I just go in the areas that I would normally bronze. Like I start there, lay the majority of the self-tanner down in those like bronzy areas, and then I kind of blend it everywhere. You do want to cover every inch of your face, but I found that if you just like slap it on carelessly, you can kind of look like you have just like a muddy beard, and that's not typically a look that I'm going for. So I really started to do this technique of, you know, starting around the edges and then like slowly buffing it in. I know there are some people who do have a bit of an issue using just any old self-tanner on their face. My skin is not sensitive, so if you do have issues with putting just a general like body self-tanner on your face, we will talk about that later, but I personally haven't had an issue with it. Like I said before, it doesn't really last a long time, so I'm not really so serious about making it dark and perfect and amazing, because the reality is it's just not gonna stay on that long, and I mean, I'm okay with that at this point. I'm pretty used to it. And I really like this brush to also go down my neck and kind of like do the center of my chest, and it's just really great for blending out all the edges. When you're doing your neck, you really want to make sure you get like the back of your neck, behind your ears. I like to take whatever's left over and put it actually on my ears, because it's just gonna look so silly if you have all this tan face and chest and like your ears and like the back of your neck is white. Again, I feel like it's something that you really start to figure out the more you do self-tanning, but those are definitely areas where you don't want to forget your self-tanner, because you're gonna look crazy if you do. So then basically moving on to the rest of the body, I use a mitt, and I always buy the Vita Liberata mitts. They're about $6, I think, for a mitt, and I use it like quite a few times, like maybe 5 or 6 times. Honestly, I don't even keep track. Probably 5 or 6 times before I throw it away and get another one. You can buy these at Ulta or Sephora, and they also have them on Amazon too, which obviously is my retailer of choice now because I live off Amazon. So I just use this over my whole entire body. Again, it's kind of like you'll start to learn what you like the more you self-tan, but I usually do 2 to 3 pumps on my arms, and I just take whatever's left and I put it on my hands. Now, the hands is a tricky area, the wrist and the hands. I mean, I think we've all seen somebody with like crazy self-tanner hands, and yes, we are trying to avoid that. So the lotion, putting that on really helps. And then just what I like to do is make sure I get all basically blend my arm in so it's all perfect, all the product is off. And so you can either take, you know, what's left on your mitt or your brush. The brush is going to give a little bit more of like a seamless buffing. If I'm going somewhere where like I really care how I'm gonna look, I'm gonna use the brush. If it's just like a random week when I'm just self-tanning just for life, I just kind of use the mitt. It's very important to make this like claw, because you really want to hit in between the fingers, and all the little like wrinkles on your knuckle, you want to get in there. It looks so silly when you bend your fingers and there's these white lines. Making sure you get all there, all the sides of your hands and everything, and just making sure you don't go too hard. Like I said before, like you just really, like I stop my self-tanner like here. And then once it's all off, then I'll buff it in and blend it out. And it's pretty much the same thing like for your feet and everywhere else on my body. I don't really have a problem. I just pump it out and rub it in, and you're good to go. So something I recently got from Amazon, it's not the best technique, but it's a pretty cool product. Like 9 times out of 10, I don't even worry about my back, because again, if it's just life and I'm wearing clothes, like nobody's seeing my back anyways. But if it's ever something where I know I'm gonna have an open back or be in a bathing suit or something, I usually have my fiance Joey tan my back for me. He actually has gotten like super good at it now. But I recently got this. This is supposed to be like a back tanner, and you just do like a little pump in the middle here and you can take it and like go like this and get your back. It's not the best technique. It's not gonna give you like a flawless application, but I think it's a really cool option if you ever like I don't care that my back looks perfect, or like you live alone or anything like that. I think that this is like a really cool thing. I just got this on Amazon. When you are done self-tanning, honestly, I've never used a self-tanner that I can't just like go put on clothes. You know, you definitely want to wait a couple minutes. I always am in like a robe or like my little Velcro towel, and I kind of just hang out in that like 5-10 minutes. Or if I'm gonna get ready for the day, you know, I get ready and then like put my clothes on last. You do want to like give it a few minutes for your self-tanner to soak in, but I've never really had an issue wearing clothes. If you do get self-tanner on fabric, I've never had it not come out. So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt. Maybe, you know, you wear dark clothes that day. I've worn like white shirts way too many times and have gotten them like all covered in self-tanner. So yeah, maybe wear a black shirt, but you should be fine. I usually wear my self-tanner during the day, and I'm gonna explain why. A lot of people sleep in it. Reason number one is I have white sheets. I think we're about to move and like get a new bed, and I think that I probably am gonna get like really dark sheets because I'm so sick of my white sheets being brown on my side of the bed. Again, it is what it is. You pick your poison. Do I want to be white or do I want to have brown sheets? Like, I'd rather just have dirty sheets, to be honest with you. If you self-tan, like, after a while, eventually, like, you know, your skin is naturally just gonna fall off and your bed is gonna get, like, more brown if you have white sheets. But nothing is more brown than when you actually sleep in your sheets. There are times I do sleep in self-tanner, but it's not ideal. If I do sleep in self-tanner, here are my recommendations. The first thing is go like lighter than you would think on your hands. I've done my self-tanner like normal and slept in it. My hands are so dark after. So go way lighter than you would think on your hands. That would be when I would recommend to use a brush on your hands and just use the smallest amount like that you can barely see on your hands with self-tanner. And I have a problem. I sleep on my side. Sleep like this and I will get sweaty right here, and then I will wake up with a white ring. So if I'm sleeping in my self-tanner, I sleep in like a tighter long sleeve shirt so that when I bend, you know, right here, it doesn't touch my skin. My skin doesn't touch my skin, it only touches fabric. And then obviously like keeping the room cooler, maybe like running a fan so you're not sweating at night. Things like that. To me, it's a little bit more of a hassle to sleep in it. For one, I don't really care if I look crazy in my self-tanner. I've never had anybody be like, whoa, like you have self-tanner on. Like I never really think it looks that bad when it's actually on. So I find it to be completely fine to just wear it during the day. I wear it to work all the time. I put makeup on over it. Again, I don't care about my face because it's not gonna last that great anyways. I put makeup over my self-tanner all the time. I feel like when I wear it during the day as well, I can be a little bit heavier on my hands, and then I wait about 2 hours and then I can wash my hands and get the self-tanner off my hands, and that helps my hands to not get too dark because I just wash it off a lot sooner, and then you're kind of just like free to use your hands, you know? So that, yeah, that's 100% my preferred method, because for me to do it in the morning, I mean, really takes maybe an extra 10 minutes in the morning, and then I can just wear it all day, and it's like it's like no inconvenience for me at all. So I'm just flipping through the questions that I got asked, and one of them is about the mitt. You have to use a mitt or just something. You cannot put it on with your hands. You could and wash your hands after, but if you do not get everything off of your hands, like it's just gonna look crazy. I just don't see a world where just pumping self-tanner into your hands and rubbing it in would ever look good. So definitely a mitt. Again, the brushes are everything to me. A lot of questions about the hands. I just feel like really practice makes perfect. And I recommend this no matter what beauty thing you are trying for the first time. Please, for the love of God, I don't care if it's a wing liner, lashes, I don't care if you're contouring for the first time, you're trying eyeshadow for the first time, please never ever do it for the first time while you're getting ready for like an event. Please try it. Try to self tan where it's just a week. You know, maybe you're just going to work and like me, I don't really care like what the people at work think I look like I just don't care if I look crazy, you know, with my self tanner or whatever. Or maybe it's a week you're at home, you know, you're off. Right now we're all in isolation. This would be a great time to try self tanner, and if you mess up, it's okay. But if you're like, oh, I'm gonna be self tanning for like a wedding I have tomorrow, and you mess up your hands or something, like please don't do that. Just please don't do that. Definitely practice, but I really feel like if you exfoliate really well and put a good amount of lotion on, and then I really think doing it in the morning and washing your hands like an hour to 2 hours later is really gonna be the key. Another question I have is about self tanner on pores. I personally have never had an issue with self tanner making my pores look weird, but I was gonna do this anyways. I'm gonna link some other people's self tanning videos below that have helped me. Of course, I want this video to be like a one-stop shop for you, but I think I do things a little bit different than other people, and you know, different things work for different people. So you might watch another video and think like, oh, I really want to try that too. So I'll leave some of my favorite videos down below for you guys. And I watch Julia Havens, and she has talked about when you get out of the shower to wait, because the shower really like opens up your pores, and to wait to have them like really closed off before you put on your self tanner. And I think that's more relevant with like the hair follicles on your body. If you're having issues with pores on your face, maybe don't use like the body self tanner and just use like a self tanner that's more designed for your face. And a lot of the other questions I have are just about product, which is I'm going to get into now. So I'm going to be sharing all of my favorite things, what I use for different times. Some of these products are a little bit newer to me, so like I'll let you know what to take with kind of a grain of salt. I am covered in freaking hair. Oh my gosh. So my favorite self tanner of all time is what I used in the demonstration, and that is the Dripping Gold. That's the brand right there. SOSU. Suzanne Jackson. I don't know. You can get this on Pretty Little Thing. I think if you live in America, this is the best. That's the best place to order it from. I believe this is a UK brand, so you can get it on like Beauty Bay, which was the first place I ordered it from, but their shipping was garbage. I have it in ultra dark, so for me, I want to be as dark as physically possible all the time. And especially now that I'm more experienced with self-tanning, I'm not afraid of the dark shades. And I think that the more that you self-tan, you might find that too. No matter what the brand is, they usually have, like I know this brand, and then you know the other ones I'm going to talk about, they have light, medium, dark, and this ultra dark usually. If you are afraid of going too dark for the first time, just don't. Get light or get medium and just try it out and see. You know, honestly, when it really comes down to it, self-tanner just isn't really that expensive compared to other things. Again, we talked about tanning beds or spray tans. You know, a bottle of this, I'll give you an exact price, okay? All right, so this tanner is $28 and it lasts me months, and one spray tan can be $40, $50 plus. I think it's definitely worth it to just try it. You know, try it. You can get this in, they have it in light, medium, and dark. Two other self tanners that I really do enjoy. I don't currently have them because I just use this so much. There's no reason for me to keep purchasing them. But Loving Tan is a really great brand as well, and they're a little bit more easily accessible. They carry them in store at Ulta, which is irrelevant right now, but you could order them online at Ulta. And so that's really convenient to get. I personally like the 2-hour express tan, and again, I get the ultra dark, but they do have, I think with the express, they just have light, medium, and dark. I get the dark, but again, you can get the light, medium, and with that one, I definitely recommend, even though it's a 2-hour tan, I recommend leaving it on like 4, 6, 8 hours. And then they also just have like the regular full-time tan that comes in ultra dark, and that's really great too. So the Loving Tan is $40, so it's a little bit more expensive, which kind of makes sense because they are so popular. I think they can just get away with it a little bit more. Again, a little bit more easily accessible, and so that kind of makes it worth it, I think. That's a great place to start. I would definitely recommend it. So this one and the 2 Loving Tan ones are really great because they have a color guard on them. What that means is I will show you. Of course, you saw it in the little demo, but as you can see, when you pump out the tan, there's an actual color to it, which is really great because when you're putting it on, you see where you're putting it on. Oh, look at what I'm doing. Ooh. I think that this is definitely a necessity if you are a beginner. So if you have never self-tanned before or you're still kind of new to the whole thing, I would definitely recommend any of those 3 products for you. If it looks good while you're applying it, it's going to look good when you rinse it off. And that's just kind of, aside from like maybe the hands and being really careful there, but other than that, how it looks on is it's gonna be that smooth when you rinse it off. So I really recommend those. So like I said, with the 2 Hour Express, I leave it for 6+ hours. And as far as the other tans go, I literally just leave it on all day. Like I don't keep track like, okay, it's been 6 hours, gotta go wash it off. I've never had an issue. Like I've left it on 24. I don't recommend this at all because it does kind of dry your skin out, but I've definitely left it on 24 hours, like many times. Once it's done developing, it's basically just done developing and it's not really gonna hurt you other than to maybe dry your skin out a little bit. It's not really gonna hurt you to keep leaving it on. So this one says, what, 7 hours? I like to say, I like to do a couple extra hours than they recommend because I feel like if it's like, oh, it's been exactly 7 hours, like let me hop in the shower, it's not quite as dark as maybe it could be. Yeah, again, I'm not really too serious about it. I just leave it on either all day or all night, whatever how I'm wearing it, and then I wash it off. And the same with the 2 hour one. I usually just leave that on for as long as I want and then wash it off. You do have to rinse. When you rinse it off, you don't want to like do any shaving after the fact because it will exfoliate some of your tan off. You don't want to use any soaps because that can kind of make your tan come off faster. And then when you get out of the shower, you want to make sure you moisturize like really well. A tan is going to stick better. The more you moisturize your skin, the longer it's going to last. So that's really important. So moving on to the next brand I'm going to talk about is Isle of Paradise, which you can get at Sephora. And so the first thing I want to talk about is their Glow Clear Self-Tanning Mousse. So this is really similar to the other products. It's a mousse, except for it is clear. And so let me just say why I kind of like this is because I don't have to rinse it off at the end of the day. It just depends on what's going on in my life and going on that day. If it's something that I'm going somewhere later and I don't want to rinse off my tan, but I want to just have a little extra glow before I go, or I'm sleeping in it, like this is a great one to sleep in because it doesn't have the color guard. And so it's just been something I've been trying out and I am really enjoying it. It's not quite my favorite, but I do like it. The next product I really am obsessed with, this is the same brand. This is self-tanning butter. So as of right now, they only have this on QVC, so it comes in a pack with these drops, which I'll talk about in a second, but it's a body butter, so it's a lot more hydrating, and again, it goes on clear, and if I do 2 layers of this, I get so dark. I've never had like a lotion that you actually get so freaking dark. So very important, again, to put it on with a mitt because you don't want any lotion on the palms of your hands because you will look crazy. And as far as the hands, it's a little bit more tricky to get the hands right with this because you can't see it. So I just mix like a dot of this with my regular body lotion just to dilute it and then rub it on. And then again, making sure I wash my hands like an hour or 2 later so it kind of gets the self-tanner off. But I've been really loving this. It's been like a really fun new addition and I just love that I can just put it on and then just forget about it. Like I don't have to like be like, oh, I can't get water on me, or I don't want to get sweaty, or I don't want to, you know, put on a white shirt, or I have to wash it off later. Like you just don't have to think about it, which I don't care that I have to think about that stuff normally. I think it's worth it, but it's just nice to like try a new product. Again, I would never recommend these for a beginner, but if you're really experienced with self-tanning, I think these are really, really great. It came in a pack with these Isle of Paradise tanning drops. So these are for face and body. So you can mix these with your moisturizer and put them on your face. You can mix them with like the body butter and make it a little bit darker. I didn't find that it made it that much darker. Like I have said multiple times throughout this video, my face gets whitest the fastest because I'm washing it constantly. So my face tan is something that I do have to keep up. I really do my skincare. I try to do it like from the top of my head to the nipples. Like, we want all this area to be washed and exfoliated and moisturized regularly. So I like to have this to mix in with my moisturizer, and I really can touch up my neck and my chest and my face really easily. Only thing with this is, again, if you're putting it in with your moisturizer on your hands, you want to make sure to wash your hands really well and get this off the palms of your hands. But I do really like this. Another product that's like my favorite face self tanner is the Saint Tropez Bronzing Water Face Mist. So this is just a clear, really fine mist. It's a face tanner, and again, I cover my face in this, my neck and my chest. I love this because it's hands free. There's no washing of the hands. There's no, like, look at this self tanner that won't come off my hands now that I'm talking about it. Like, ugh. It doesn't matter like what skincare I have on. I can put all this oils and stuff on and then spray it over top, and it works just as fine. The only problem with both of these, mostly this one, any self tanner that's made for the face, I don't love them, and which is why I put my body self tanner on my face. They are usually a really gradual tan. You're not gonna spray this on your face and just instantly be as dark as your body. You really have to do this like every day. You could do this morning and night, or maybe just like once a day, to really keep up a little bit of a glow, but it's never gonna quite be the same as this. So guys, that is it. That is everything, I think. I hope that's everything for today. I know this was a lot, and I know I talked about a lot of products. Something I did want to touch on before we go is like getting spray tans and stuff. Even though I'm such a self tanner, and I really think I do a pretty good job on myself, I totally think that professional spray tans do have their time and their place. If there is ever like a really serious event that I want to look good for, or I'm gonna be wearing a kind of outfit like a open back dress, or just something that like shows certain areas that I can't self tan as well, or I'm going on vacation or anything like that, I definitely will get a professional spray tan. I think they are worth it sometimes, because even though I enjoy my self tanning and I think it looks really good, there's nothing quite like an airbrush professional spray tan. Like, nothing is gonna look as seamless as that. And even though, again, this looks good, just the reality is it's still yourself doing it at home. So I pretty much self tan about once a week and just kind of maintain a little bit of a tan all year round. But again, something special, I definitely recommend getting a professional spray tan. Getting professional spray tans, you also kind of learn tricks for when you're self tanning. So I think it's a great thing that goes hand in hand. But even though I talked a lot about products today and about all these different tools that I have and I use, it really is cheaper and easier and quicker, and just you can do it at home by yourself, than getting a professional spray tan. I hope this was really helpful for you guys. I know like this has been something I've been getting asked so much for so long. So I hope that if you were afraid of self tanning, you aren't anymore. I'm gonna try to link all of these products in the description box for you, as well as like some similar stuff that I like, as well as some videos that I recommend you watch as well. And yeah, please always leave comments down below if you have any questions, DM me on Instagram. And yeah, that's it. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to see more of me. Let me know what else you want to see, and I'll just see you guys in my next video.